Hey guys, it's Jake here with etrailer. Today we have a 2019 Ford Ranger. We're going to be taking a look at, I'm going to show you how to install the Blue Ox Direct Connect base plate. The Blue Ox base plate is going to give you a direct connection to the Ford Ranger's frame so that you can flat tow it down the road. What I like about the Blue Ox base plate is that it's going to be very concealed, so whenever you're not hooked up to your motorhome, it doesn't really change the looks of the front of your truck a whole lot because it's just going to take the place of your of the tow loops that are on the front. And the only thing that's going to stick out past the front of your bumper is going to be where you attach your safety cables. Now, in addition to your base plate, you're going to have 4 other main components and 2 that we highly suggest installing. The 4 other ones are going to be your tow bar, which connects the motorhome to the vehicle, your diode wiring, which is going to allow you to transfer your signals from your motorhome to your taillights on the back of your truck, your safety cables that in an unlikely disconnect, your safety cables will take over. If your tow bar ever comes disconnected, you can come to a safe and controlled stop. And helping you get to that safe and controlled stop is going to be the last component, which is your supplemental braking system. Now, this base plate is going to be very, very easy to get installed. It's just going to attach where your tow loops were attached originally with a few other bolts that come with your kit included. But just as easy to get it installed. You can take it off, spin this out, and that is all that's going to be left on the front of your truck. Now that we've gone over some of those details, let's go ahead and pull it in the shop and show you how we did it. To begin our installation, we're going to need to remove the rubber covers around our tow loops. So we'll just pull down on the rubber around the edge. There's some clips back here holding it in, or just little tabs. You reach back there and we'll just pull it out. You want to remove these on both sides. Now we're going to have 3 10mm bolts here on this bottom shroud that we'll have to remove using a 10mm socket. Now with a 15mm socket, we're going to have 4 bolts that are holding on our belly pan here. We'll take that. Just want to be careful with this because it is steel, so it's going to have some weight to it. So when you take the last bolt out, you want to be sure to have a hand on it. We'll set it to the side. Now we'll take that same 15mm socket and remove our tow hooks. Now we can start getting our plates in place. We're going to have specific plates per side. The side with the little notch cut out in here, that's going to be for the driver's side. So you'll take your plate with the big spacer block on it, and we're going to put that against the frame like this. Then we're going to take our 1/2-inch bolt with a split lock washer on the outside, slide that through. That's going to go through the hole in our frame up here. And those are going to be for the inside of the frame rail. We'll take the 1/2-inch nut plate, slide it up through our frame, and then you're just going to twist the bolt until the nut plate starts to thread. We'll just leave these loose until we can get the rest of the hardware installed. Now on the outside of our frame rail, it's going to be a little different. You're going to have a smaller couple bolts in your kit. You'll have a lock washer, a flat washer. Slide that through the hole. A couple of washers on the inside of that bracket to act as spacers. And then we'll take that whole thing and slide it up in place. Now keep in mind with all of this hardware, you want to be using red Loctite because we do not want this hardware backing itself out. Now we'll take the smaller nut plate that comes in our kit, reach up in the frame, and then you'll want to line up that and do the same thing. Twist that bolt on the outside, and you do not want to cross thread these. So make sure it's threading nice and clean and tighten it hand tight. Now we're going to lift our base plate tabs up into place. You want to make sure that the safety chain loop here is on top and towards the middle of the vehicle. We'll take that same combination of hardware that we just used on the outside of our frame and slide it through the holes in our base plate. we're going to follow each one of these up with a nylon lock nut. And I found that it really helps just to slide the nut in from back here on the back side and then just spin the bolt. Now before we tighten this hardware down, we're going to thread our factory bolts back up into the frame rail. And you want to snug these down first because you want that base plate to be flat up against the bottom of the frame, and then we can tighten down the rest of our hardware. Now we'll torque down those 2 factory bolts first, and then we'll come back and tighten and torque the rest of our hardware to the specifications and the instructions. After you get the driver's side done, you want to come over to the passenger side, repeat that same process. And then the last thing we need to do is break off these tabs. You can cut them. Usually I try to wiggle them back and forth until the little tack weld breaks. And sometimes this can take a while. There we go. We'll do the same thing for the remaining. Now with our base plate mounted up, we will take our safety cables, go over top of our frame rail. You want to come back down, and then we're going to take our quick connect, our quick link, and slide it over. And then we're going to loop it back through. Actually, loop it this way, go through the back side. And then we need to get it hooked on to our base plate here. This can be tricky because of how stiff these cables are. I'll take some more red Loctite, put it on these threads, and then get it tightened down. Now the next step in our process is going to be to put the belly pan back up, and it's going to attach here on these 2 lower brackets and then back to your factory points. We're going to leave ours off for now because we're going to be running all of our diode wiring and then our breakaway switch and our 6-pole up here, and this gives us good access to be able to run some wires. So we'll come back and throw that on, but we're going to put all that other stuff on first. Now once we have our wiring and our breakaway switch installed, we can lift our belly pan back up into place and put our bolts in, the last 2 remaining bolts that are in our kit. Follow it with a flat washer and a nylon lock nut on the other side, and on the head bolt, the side with the bolt head, you'll want to use a split lock washer and a regular flat washer. And after you get everything buttoned up, that's going to do it for the installation. So all you need to do now is hook up to your motorhome and hit the road. Hopefully this video helped you decide whether or not the Blue Ox base plate is right for you in your 2019 Ford Ranger.